While most families spend a fortune on store-bought meals, the Amish have quietly mastered the art of feeding big families on just pennies. They're not relying on packaged food or expensive ingredients, just pure, simple know-how passed down through generations. These 35 meals aren't just cheap, they stretch every bite and every dollar. From clever use of leftovers to old-school pantry staples, the Amish prove that good food doesn't need a fancy label or a high price tag. 1 Amish white bread. The Amish have been baking their iconic white bread for generations. Just 5 simple ingredients: flour, water, yeast, salt, and a little sugar, turn into 3 soft golden loaves. No preservatives, no machines. Just old-fashioned mixing in wooden bowls and the magic of patience. Each loaf costs less than 50 cents to make, yet it beats store-bought bread in taste, texture, and freshness. It's soft enough for sandwiches, but sturdy enough for toasting. Amish mothers often start preparing the dough before the sun rises, kneading it by hand while the house is still quiet. And when that bread starts baking, the smell can wake up the whole farm. They don't use bread machines. The dough is worked by hand until it's smooth and elastic, then left to rise near the wood stove, where the gentle warmth helps it grow perfectly. Most families bake 3 loaves at a time, ensuring there's always fresh bread for the week. It's more than just bread. It's a reminder of how beautiful simple living can be. 2 lard pie crust. Forget everything you think you know about pie crusts. The Amish have a secret weapon: pork lard. While modern bakers often use butter or shortening, Amish cooks know that lard makes the flakiest, most tender crusts you'll ever taste. Why? Lard melts slower than butter, creating tiny steam pockets while baking. The result? Layers of melt-in-your-mouth goodness. My grandmother used to joke that her pie crust was so flaky it needed its own weather report. Whether it's a sweet apple pie or a hearty chicken pot pie, this crust never falls apart or turns soggy. Plus, it costs way less than store-bought crusts, and the taste is on a whole other level. To make it, cold lard is cut into flour using a simple knife or pastry cutter. You don't want it to blend too much. That's what creates those flaky layers. Then a little cold water is added, just enough to bring it together without making it tough. And that's it. Cold hands, quick work, and a whole lot of flavour. 3 Amish scramble. If there's one dish that truly captures the Amish waste-nothing mindset, it's scramble. This old-school breakfast favourite turns leftover pork scraps, cornmeal, and spices into something seriously delicious. Born from necessity and perfected through tradition, scramble is a way to use every part of the pig. Nothing goes to waste. After hog butchering, leftover cuts and organs are boiled down into a rich, flavourful broth. Cornmeal is slowly stirred in, along with sage, black pepper, and maybe a little thyme. The mixture thickens into a savoury, meaty loaf, which is chilled, sliced, and pan-fried until crispy and golden. The outside is crisp, the inside is soft and savoury, and it pairs perfectly with eggs or pancakes. Each slice is packed with protein and costs way less than bacon or sausage. It's not just a meal, it's a masterclass in thrift and flavour. 4 Amish apple butter Amish families know how to turn plain apples into spreadable gold, and they don't need electricity to do it. Their homemade apple butter is slow cooked over wood fires in big copper kettles, stirred for hours with wooden paddles by the whole family. Cinnamon, cloves, and a little sugar turn bushels of apples into a rich, dark, sweet spread that keeps for months without needing refrigeration. The secret? It's cooked low and slow until the sugars naturally preserve it. This isn't just a recipe, it's an event. Everyone gathers around, takes turns stirring, and shares stories while the apple butter thickens into perfection. It's not just food, it's heritage in a jar. 5 shoofly pie. Now let's talk dessert. Shoofly pie, the most iconic Amish sweet treat. It's named after the flies it used to attract while cooling on windowsills. People had to keep shooing them away. But don't let the name fool you. This pie is seriously good. It's made with molasses, brown sugar, flour and spices. That's it. No eggs, no milk, no butter. And still, it manages to taste rich, gooey and unforgettable. The secret is in the layers. The bottom is like a sticky, sweet syrup, while the top is crumbly and buttery, even though there's no butter. Amish bakers mix flour, brown sugar and cinnamon into a coarse crumb and sprinkle it over a bubbly molasses layer. When it bakes, the layers set into the perfect balance of soft and crumbly. Each slice costs just pennies to make, but delivers deep, comforting flavour that rivals any high-end dessert. The best versions are baked in wood-fired ovens, which give the crust and filling that perfect texture only tradition can deliver. 6 cornmeal mush. Cornmeal mush might sound plain, but in Amish kitchens, it's a powerhouse of comfort and fuel. This dish is made with just cornmeal, water, and salt. But it's the way it's cooked and served that makes it shine. Served hot, it's a creamy porridge that warms you to the bone. Let it cool and set overnight, and the next day it's sliced and pan-fried until crispy on the outside, soft on the inside. It's incredibly cheap to make, but it keeps you full and energised for hours. Amish families often eat it before sunrise, before heading to do barn chores or work the fields. Traditional prep involves slowly whisking cornmeal into boiling salted water. It takes patience, 20 to 30 minutes of constant stirring, but the result is smooth, nutty and satisfying. In a world of overpriced breakfast cereals, this is humble food that sticks to your ribs, fills your belly and respects your wallet. 7-baked oatmeal. Cold winter mornings on Amish farms call for more than just a bowl of oats. They call for baked oatmeal, the kind that comes out like a cross between pudding and cake. Unlike stovetop oatmeal that turns into mush, this version is baked in the oven, giving it structure and texture. The base is simple: rolled oats, milk, sugar, and eggs. But from there, it's easy to customize. Some families toss in chopped apples, others add raisins, cinnamon, even walnuts when available. Once baked, it can be sliced into squares and reheated throughout the week, making it a perfect make-ahead breakfast. It's sweet enough to feel like a treat, but packed with nutrients to power through chores, snow shoveling, or a long day at work. Each bite tastes like home and keeps you going till lunch. 8 sauerkraut with apples. Here's a combination that surprises most people: sauerkraut and apples. The Amish figured out long ago that the tangy crunch of fermented cabbage pairs beautifully with the natural sweetness of garden apples. This isn't just tasty, it's practical. Sauerkraut is made the old-fashioned way, layering shredded cabbage with salt in big ceramic crocks or wooden barrels, letting it ferment over weeks. No vinegar, no store-bought shortcuts. When it's finally ready, the sauerkraut gets slow-cooked with sliced apples. The result? A sweet-sour side dish that pairs perfectly with pork, sausages, or roasted meats. It's full of natural probiotics, great for digestion, and completely shelf-stable without electricity or canning equipment. The cost? Next to nothing, especially for families that grow their own cabbage and apples. And the flavour? It only gets better the longer it sits. 9 dandelion salad. In early spring, Amish fields burst with the first signs of green. Dandelion leaves. While most people treat them as pesky weeds, the Amish see them as a gift from the land. But there's a trick. You've got to pick them before the plant flowers, when the leaves are still tender and only mildly bitter. These wild greens are packed with vitamins A and C, minerals and antioxidants. Perfect for waking up bodies still tired from a winter of preserved foods. The traditional Amish dressing is a warm bacon and vinegar vinaigrette. It slightly wilts the greens, adds a rich, smoky flavour, and transforms the salad into something hearty and satisfying. The best part? It's completely free. No garden needed. Just take a walk through a meadow, or even your own backyard, and you'll find a feast waiting to be picked. Harvesting is usually done early in the cool morning hours when the leaves are softest and least bitter. It's sustainable, ultra-local, and deeply nourishing. Dandelion salad proves that some of the best superfoods don't come in plastic containers. They grow wild under our feet. 10 vinegar pie. When lemons were too pricey or unavailable, Amish bakers turned to a surprising substitute: vinegar. Yes, vinegar. And what came from it was the now famous vinegar pie, a custardy, sweet tart dessert born during the Great Depression. This old-school pie uses nothing more than eggs, sugar, flour, and white vinegar. The result? A smooth, tangy filling that tastes a lot like lemon without needing any citrus at all. The vinegar reacts with the sugar and eggs during baking, creating a soft custard that's bright, rich, and surprisingly balanced. One bite, and you'll see why this dish became a favourite when times were tough. Best of all, a whole pie costs less than $2 to make, yet the flavour could stand beside any high-end lemon meringue. It's a true testament to creativity in the kitchen, how limitations can lead to something unexpectedly delightful. Traditional Amish bakers know that gentle, even heat is key. Too hot, and the custard can curdle. Done right, though, it's velvety smooth and deeply comforting. These beets last for months without refrigeration, thanks to time-tested canning methods. The vinegar not only preserves them, it enhances their flavour over time. Every bite of these deep red slices is a reminder that simple foods, when treated with care, can become family treasures. 11 pickled red beets. If you've ever tasted real Amish pickled beets, you'll know they're as red as they are addicting. And yes, your tongue might match the beets afterward. These vibrant slices are preserved in a sweet and sour brine made with vinegar, sugar, and warm spices like cloves, bay leaves, and sometimes onions. The beets are boiled until tender, sliced evenly, and packed into jars where they soak up all that rich flavour. Once sealed, they can last for months without refrigeration, making them a lifesaver during the winter when fresh produce is hard to come by. The natural sugars in the beets concentrate as they pickle, giving you a flavour that's sweet, tangy, and deeply earthy, all in one bite, and nothing goes to waste. The leftover brine? Amish cooks often reuse it as a salad dressing base or splash it over roasted vegetables. A single bushel of beets can yield enough jars to last an entire winter, making this method incredibly smart for large families looking to stretch their harvest. 12 ham and green beans. They say the best things come in threes, and ham, green beans, and potatoes might just be the tastiest trio in the Amish kitchen. This dish starts with salt-cured ham, often home-smoked and preserved after hog butchering season. That ham is simmered for hours with fresh green beans and baby potatoes until the flavours melt together into one hearty, one-pot meal. No fancy sauces, no store-bought anything, just real food, slow-cooked until the ham falls apart and the vegetables soak up every bit of smoky, salty goodness. It's often made in huge batches to feed large families, and the whole meal can come together for under $5, making it both economical and deeply satisfying. Beyond the taste, this dish is about simplicity. Once everything is in the pot, all you need is patience. It simmers low and slow, and the reward is comfort food at its finest. 13 custard pie. Sometimes, the most memorable desserts are the simplest ones. And Amish custard pie is proof. Made with only eggs, milk, sugar, and vanilla, this pie is all about gentle precision. When done right, the custard bakes into a silky, smooth filling with a sweet aroma that fills the kitchen. No toppings, no frills, just a buttery crust cradling a creamy centre that melts in your mouth. The trick is in the temperature. The custard must be baked low and slow to avoid curdling and to make sure it sets just right. Many Amish bakers use wood-fired ovens and rely on instinct and experience to judge when it's done, not a timer. It's the kind of dessert that disappears quickly at family gatherings, not because it's flashy, but because it's perfect. 14 Amish potato cakes. Mashed potatoes are great, but leftover mashed potatoes? The Amish turn them into something even better, crispy potato cakes. Cold mashed potatoes are mixed with flour, chopped onions, and sometimes an egg to help the mixture hold together. Then they're shaped into patties and pan-fried in bacon fat or lard until they're golden and crispy on the outside, soft and fluffy on the inside. These cakes often show up the day after big harvest dinners, when mashed potatoes are plentiful and need to be used before they spoil. The result? A dish that's comforting, budget-friendly, and totally satisfying. Whether served for breakfast or as a side, each bite is warm, crispy, and full of flavour. 15 Green tomato relish. Before the first frost hits, Amish families gather up all the green tomatoes still clinging to their vines. Instead of tossing them, they turn them into a tangy relish that lasts all winter long. The process starts with chopping green tomatoes and onions, then cooking them down with vinegar, sugar, and spices like mustard seed, celery seed, and turmeric. The result is a zesty, sweet and sour relish that adds brightness to meat dishes, sandwiches, or even plain potatoes. Think of green tomatoes like teenagers, not quite ripe, but full of potential once handled right. The relish not only adds bold flavour, but also delivers a hit of vitamin C when fresh produce isn't available. Every Amish pantry has a few jars of this green gold, ready to bring summer flavour to cold, grey days. 16 Cucumber and onion salad. Imagine a summer afternoon on an Amish farm. Sweaty hats, hard-working hands, and a table shaded by trees. Right in the centre? A big bowl of cucumber and onion salad. Simple, refreshing, and bursting with flavour. This dish starts with paper-thin slices of cucumber and sharp onion, all bathed in a tangy dressing made from just vinegar, sugar, and salt. It's the kind of balance that lets the natural flavours shine through, cool, crisp, and slightly sweet. Since Amish gardens overflow with cucumbers during the summer, this salad is a clever way to use up the harvest before it spoils. And fun fact, cucumbers are 96% water, which means this salad is basically a crunchy, hydrating snack. The longer it sits, the better it gets. Perfect for preparing ahead of church picnics, barn raisings, and hot summer gatherings. 17 Amish macaroni salad. If there's a church potluck or a barn raising, you'll find this salad on the table. Always. Amish macaroni salad is cold pasta done right. Elbow macaroni mixed with hard-boiled eggs, chopped celery for crunch, and a creamy dressing that's made magical by one surprising ingredient, sweet pickle juice. That tangy splash adds brightness and cuts through the richness of the mayo and mustard, keeping things flavourful and light. It's economical too. One big bowl feeds over a dozen people for under $3. Plus, it gets even better overnight as the flavours come together, making it ideal for prepping ahead when feeding a crowd on a budget. Reliable, tasty, and satisfying. It's no wonder this dish is a go-to in every Amish kitchen. 18 liver and onions organ meats aren't exactly trendy, but the Amish never waste anything, especially when it comes from a freshly butchered hog or cow. Liver and onions is a powerful example of that zero-waste mentality. Before cooking, liver is soaked in milk for several hours. This removes bitterness and tenderizes the meat. Then it's sliced thin, dredged in seasoned flour, and quickly pan-fried in hot fat. Caramelized onions go in the same pan, bringing a sweet contrast to the liver's rich, mineral flavour. It's incredibly nutritious, packed with iron, B vitamins and protein, yet costs next to nothing because most folks overlook it. But with the right technique and timing, liver transforms into a meal that keeps hard-working bodies fueled and families fed. 19. Rhubarb sauce. If you've ever tasted rhubarb, you know it starts out sharp and tangy. But the Amish know how to tame it into something truly delightful. They slice the stalks, cook them down low and slow, and let time do the work. The result? A thick, velvety sauce that's equally perfect over oatmeal, warm biscuits, or even fresh bread. No thickeners, no preservatives, just the rhubarb's natural pectin creating the perfect consistency. One established rhubarb patch can provide enough stalks for months of vitamin-rich sauce, all for nearly free. And when you spread it on toast in the middle of winter, it tastes like spring. 20. Milk pie. Think you need cream, eggs, or a stocked fridge to make dessert? Think again. The Amish invented milk pie during hard times, and it's still winning hearts today. Just milk, flour, sugar, a pinch of salt, and vanilla. That's all it takes to make a creamy, custard-like dessert that looks and tastes like something far more expensive. It's poured into a buttered pan, no crust needed, and baked until the top turns golden and the inside sets into a soft, rich filling. This humble pie proves one thing clearly: limitation sparks creativity, and when you're on a tight budget, this is luxury made from next to nothing. 21. Stewed tomatoes with bread. It might not sound fancy, ripe garden tomatoes simmered with torn bread and a touch of sugar, but once you taste it, you'll understand why Amish cooks make this over and over. The bread softens and soaks up the tomato juice, creating a savoury sweet texture that's somewhere between a pudding and a soup. It's warm, filling, and full of depth. This dish was born out of necessity, during tomato harvests when there was too much to can and too much to waste. And it turns day-old bread into a belly-filling meal that costs almost nothing. Tomatoes provide vitamins, bread brings comfort, and together they make something far greater than the sum of their parts. 22. Canned peach cobbler. Imagine it's the middle of winter, snow outside, the pantry's running low, and then someone opens a jar of Amish canned peaches. Suddenly, the kitchen smells like summer. That's the magic of peach cobbler. A warm golden biscuit topping rises over bubbling sweet fruit, creating a dessert that feels like a hug in every spoonful. The topping is just flour, butter, milk, and sugar, baked until it turns golden and slightly crisp. The inside? Soft, sticky, sunshine-sweet peaches that melt in your mouth. Amish families preserve peaches in bulk when orchards are overflowing. That way, even in the darkest part of the year, they can feed a large family dessert for less than the cost of one fresh peach during off-season. It's smart, it's delicious, and it's a reminder that real food security means planning ahead when nature is generous. 23. Potato and egg skillet. Now this is breakfast done right. Golden diced potatoes fried to crispy perfection and topped with fresh eggs, gently cooked until the yolks turn into a rich, natural sauce. That's how the Amish start the day. The secret is in the cast iron. Well-seasoned skillets heat evenly and create the perfect texture, crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside. Once the potatoes are ready, the eggs are cracked straight in, using nothing but residual heat to cook them just right. For under $1 per plate, you get protein, complex carbs, and real satisfaction, the kind that keeps you going through morning chores and long hours of honest work. 24. Ham hock bean soup. This next dish is a masterclass in one-pot cooking. Start with dried beans, soak them overnight, then simmer them slowly with a smoky ham hock and watch magic happen. Over time, the beans soften, the flavours melt together, and the soup thickens naturally into a creamy, hearty bowl of nourishment. The ham hock adds deep, meaty richness. The beans bring fibre and long-lasting energy, and together they create a soup so good it feels like a hug in every bite. Best part? It costs just pennies per serving, but tastes like it came from a high-end farmhouse kitchen. 25 Amish Noodle Pudding. Ever heard of a dessert made with noodles? The Amish have one, and it's surprisingly delicious. This dish, often called noodle pudding or kugel in some Amish communities, blends egg noodles, sugar, raisins, and eggs into something that feels both cosy and indulgent. It can be served warm as a dessert, or even as part of dinner. Baked until golden, the pudding holds its shape with a custardy texture, sweet plump raisins, and noodles that remain distinct in every slice. It was born from thrift, using up leftover noodles, but it ended up becoming a Sunday favourite. Costing less than a candy bar per serving, it still delivers a mix of carbs and protein that fills bellies and warms hearts. 26 Brown Butter Gravy. This isn't your average gravy. This is Amish brown butter gravy, and it transforms the simplest meals into something special. It starts with pan drippings saved from roasted meats or fried foods. Nothing is wasted. Butter is browned slowly until it develops a deep, nutty aromas. Then flour is whisked in to create a rich, smooth roux. This thick, flavourful gravy gets poured over everything: mashed potatoes, egg noodles, even leftover bread, turning plain sides into the main event. All for under $1 a batch. It's a true reminder that skill and tradition are the most valuable ingredients in any kitchen. 27 Egg and Bread Scramble. Got day-old bread? Don't toss it. Fry it up with eggs and onions, and you've got a dish that tastes way better than it sounds. Amish families love turning scraps into sustenance, and this bread and egg scramble is one of the tastiest examples. Torn bread pieces soak up flavour as they fry, and the eggs bring richness and protein, while the onions add a savoury edge. Cooked in a cast-iron skillet, everything browns up just right, turning leftovers into a dish that's hearty, resourceful, and deeply satisfying. 28 Amish Egg and Bread Scramble. Got stale bread? The Amish see possibility, not garbage. This simple breakfast starts by tearing day-old bread into pieces and frying it in a cast-iron skillet with fresh eggs and onions. As the bread cooks, it soaks up the egg while still holding its shape, giving you a scramble that's chunky, hearty, and surprisingly satisfying. Cooked low and slow, the onions soften and add just the right punch of flavour. During the cold months, when fresh veggies are hard to come by, that bit of sharpness is more than welcome. This dish was born in hard times, when wasting food simply wasn't an option. But over time, it became a favourite, not just for saving money, but because it's genuinely good. Each serving costs just pennies, yet delivers complete protein, complex carbs, and lasting energy to power through a morning of chores. And as the Amish would say, sometimes stale bread just needs a second chance, and that comeback tastes even better than the first act. 29 Apple Dumplings. Now let's talk dessert, but the Amish way. Simple, rustic, and packed with comfort. Whole peeled apples wrapped in soft pie dough, then baked in cinnamon sugar syrup. It's like an apple pie got a cosy little upgrade. Each dumpling is its own perfectly wrapped golden brown treat. This recipe makes use of surplus apples during harvest season, a smart way to preserve the fruit before it spoils. The syrup seeps into the dough, the apple softens as it bakes, and the result is a dessert that smells like fall and tastes like home. The key is choosing tart apples. They hold their shape and don't turn mushy. Each dumpling costs less than 50 cents to make, yet delivers more flavour and comfort than desserts triple the price. Forget fancy bakery treats. This is real dessert, straight from the orchard and the heart of the home. 30 Amish Rice Pudding. It's amazing how just a cup of rice, some milk, and a pinch of cinnamon can become something so comforting. Amish rice pudding is a slow-baked dish that's soft, creamy, and lightly sweet, making it perfect as a dessert or even breakfast. As it bakes, the rice gently absorbs the milk, creating a texture that's rich like custard, but without the need for heavy cream or eggs. The flavour deepens over time. Brown sugar or molasses adds a warm sweetness that white sugar just can't match. And the slow cooking method, not rushing it, is what makes all the difference. One batch can easily feed a family of 8, and the cost? Less than a candy bar. But it's not just affordable, it's nourishing. Packed with complex carbs and protein, it keeps you satisfied much longer than sugary snacks. This humble dish is a quiet victory in the kitchen. It proves that good food doesn't need to be fancy or expensive. It just needs a little time and a lot of heart.